Yo, what's good with you guys? Welcome to episode 53. Or 54, sorry, 54. 53 is last week. Excuse me. Little change of scenery for today. It's a first video with just the host here. Had some stuff happen today. Didn't really have any time to get a guest put together. But that's okay. That's okay because, back where it all started, just this guy. So this is gonna be the first episode in a little while where we have a little bit of a script. It's not a full script, but it's a little bit of one. Our first sponsor, Mountain Dew Energy and Clover Valley Purified Drinking Water. But yeah, guys, we got some cool stuff to talk about today. I don't imagine we're going to be looking at another hour and some odd minute episode like we have the past couple weeks. But like I said, it's just me, But this is the first time you guys are just seeing me on the camera. So I've been talking about some stupid shit enough. So let me just say thank you for being here for 54 episodes. Make sure that you check out the Patreon. You can sub to the Patreon for as low as $3 a month, for as much as $20 a month. $20 a month. I think that's right. Yeah, $20 tier subscribers will get a free Plait Show t-shirt. I meant to put mine on, but we're going to go with this green shirt. Whatever. I'll wear it next week. Like I said, still with the shirts. Still got shirts. If you want a shirt, let me know. Please. But let's get into some of the stuff, I'll start it how I usually start the ones that was just me, It didn't do much. Not much happened this week, went to work like you do. Had Friday off instead of Saturday. I usually have Saturdays off, and that's usually when I we'll do the show. But yeah, like I said, so I'm recording this at about 11 o'clock at night. Whatever, who cares? But speaking of jobs, something that I am currently on, I talked about this a few episodes ago, a couple weeks ago, that I've been on the job hunt. I've been hunting for one. I got my musket and my muzzle loader and shit. I'm looking for a new one, dude. And this week has hit me with a few potentials, a couple potentials. I'm not going to go ahead and say anything because I'm afraid that I'm going to jinx myself or anything like that. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Hopefully next week I can tell you guys some really good news. Actually, if I find out anything between today and next week's episode, I'll be sure to put that up on Twitter or something. You'll hear about it. Also, it is dark. It's much darker than it has been. That's because, like I said, it's dark outside. It's nighttime, and my only lights are my two studio lights on right now. So, excuse me. But yeah. So, first off, drop in the comments how your guys' week was. If anything bad happened to you, if anything good happened to you. Let me know what you're going to do this week. Let me know if you like the show, of course. Make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Man, I've always wanted to say that. I think I've said it before, but now it means something. I can really say it to you guys. But yeah, sorry. This is a little out of my element. Usually when I'm doing these, I'm just talking into this guy here. But no, I'm looking at you. I'm looking in your soul. What? Yeah, don't look me in the eyes. Don't disrespect me. You guys are stupid. I'm just kidding. It's just a joke, okay? Jeez. I've had this question. I've been thinking. I've been tossing around in my brain the past couple weeks. The place where I work, there's a couple deaf people. There's a couple deaf people that come in, and I know what I do when I see deaf people, and I got to interact with them. But I'm so curious as to what anybody else does. So, if you're 5 minutes in and you're hearing me say this, I really want to know what you do. Like if you ever work in customer service or something, and a deaf person comes in and they start talking to you, what do you do? Because I've had a couple experiences. Like sometimes if a deaf person comes in and they want something, sometimes they'll bring a piece of paper that says what they want. They can write. But then sometimes deaf people will come in and they don't need you to get them anything. They can get it themselves. So when they go to check out, they always, sometimes you'll have them like try to ask you questions. And like, I don't know if you've ever heard like a deaf person try to like ask a question. And I'm not trying to be insensitive to deaf people. I mean, they're not going to hear us anyway, but like seriously, what do you do? And also you think there's no way, but do you think that deaf people think that they're like they're talking right? It's so weird, man. I feel so bad for anybody that's deaf. I feel more bad for people that have gone deaf than I do for people. Actually, yeah. I think I feel worse for people that have gone deaf rather than people that have been deaf. Because if you've been deaf, like what it's like that's the only thing you know. But if you, at one point in your life, have been able to hear, and hear yourself and hear other people and different things, this and that, man, that's gotta suck. Cause you're just running around life like, man, I wish I could hear this bird tweet right now. But then sometimes I bet it's kind of nice. There's probably some things where you're like, fuck, thank God I'm deaf. There's probably no one out there that's deaf that's like, man, thank you for this. What about blind people, man? I follow these dudes on TikTok that there's a guy and he goes and he picks up his two blind friends, and the blind friends, they're really good friends. They're like best friends. But like, what do you think? Like it. Oh, man, just I think anything where it goes through something like that, whether it's like paralysis or deaf or blind or whatever, scentless. Scentless isn't that bad, man. I know a lot of people that's scentless nowadays. Thanks COVID, thanks Obama, that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Just kidding. I love Obama. I was like how old was it? I was 8 years old when that dude got elected. And when he got out of office, I was 8, 12. I was 16. I still couldn't even vote. Not even that I could have voted to keep him in, but still, whatever. That's here or there. I don't know why I brought that up. But yeah, like I think if you have ever been able to experience that stuff and then it's like taken away from you, like that has to be terrible. But like I said, if you're born with it, like you probably always have that little FOMO in the back of your head, Man, I wish I knew what things looked like. But at the same time, it's not like you've seen it before. So it's not like you really know what you're missing out on. For all a blind guy knows is, for all he knows, it's everything's on fire. You could tell him that and he'd be like, "Oh, really?" That's kind of messed up that you would mess with a blind guy like that, but you could. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying you probably could if you wanted to. Don't do it, of course. That's messed up. Like, you ever hear about the people that will, like people work at gas stations or something, and a blind guy will come in, and mind you, just a blind person alone, I feel like every person is blind, unless you're like just walking around your house and stuff. Like if you're out at a store, like I know, like I'm sure if you're blind or if you're blind, you want to be like independent. But like, man, there's some shady people out there, and I feel like you should probably always have somebody there to like back you up. Because like, have you ever heard about the people? I mean, I'm saying it like it's a mob of people that just go around and scam blind people. But like I've heard stories, I guess I should say it like that, where like blind people will go in to like say a gas station to get like a pop. Man, I got so many questions. How does a blind person know what pop they're getting? Maybe you recognize the feel of the bottle. I don't know. What if it's a can? What if it's one of these? You touch this, you're like, man, that could either be a Mountain Dew Energy, that could be a Monster Energy. You don't know what it is. But anyway, I don't know. Man, they won't see it anyway. I'm sorry. That was uncalled for. Extremely. I'm sorry. Um, but like they'll go up to pay, and like I'm sure if you're blind and you got a wallet and you got money in your wallet, you've had somebody come and be like, okay, you got a 20 back here, you got another 20, then you got a 10, a 5, a couple ones, blah blah blah. So you probably know the order of your money pretty well, especially if you're going to go in somewhere and buy something. So like, I guess sometimes people will see a blind person and they're like, okay, your total's $3.44, and the guy will hand them a 5. Or say, actually, let's use it for like a bigger purchase. But actually, screw it. We'll just keep it on that. Be like, oh, $5.65, and you hand them. This blind guy will hand you a 5, and then some piece of shit out there will be like, oh, that's a 1, and he'll just slide that 5 down in his pocket, and then the blind guy's like, what the fuck? Like, how did I forget this? And then he hands him like a 20. He's like, oh, I guess I got it all backwards. Here's 20. The guy's like, okay, yep, that's good. Yep, that's $3.44. Thanks. See you later. Man, ain't that messed up? Because really, like blind people, they're not. I mean, there's some that are like mentally challenged, but just because you're blind doesn't mean you are. But it's messed up that just a normal guy that happens to be blind can just get bamboozled by anyone. Seriously. Like that's that's terrible. That's terrible. Why are we talking about deaf and blind and paralyzed people? I don't know. I don't, but that's almost 13 minutes that I've talked about deaf and blind people. This is a show for them. Deaf people, just watch. You don't got to read the subtitles. I don't know if there are subtitles, but just watch. Don't worry about subtitles. Just read my lips. They are good at that too. There's one deaf guy that comes in sometimes, and he's cool. Like I don't know what the standard is for being cool as a deaf person, but he's kind of laid back. He gets a lot of pimento cheese. I don't really like pimento cheese, but he does. He gets like a bunch of it every time he comes in. He come in like once a day and get like 2 pounds of pimento cheese. I'm like, bro, what are you eating this on? Sorry if you hear my chair squeaking. I guess I never thought to get a chair that doesn't creak. Whatever. Who cares? I don't. Just tune it out. But yeah, he'd get a bunch of pimento cheese. Maybe he eats like sandwiches or something. Like I said, I don't even know what it goes on. You put it on crackers? You put it on a sandwich? Do you eat it just by itself on a sandwich? Is it a substitute for other cheeses? I don't know. Tell me what pimento cheese is for. I need to know. Actually, I don't really care to know, if I'm being honest, because I don't like it. So, sorry. If you want to tell me what pimento cheese is and what it's for, go ahead. But you don't have to, because, like I said, I don't. It's gross. It's gross. It's like shredded cheese with like some juice and some pimentos. What's a pimento? What is it? It's not a mento. It's not a mint. It's not one of the things you drop in a Diet Coke. It's not that. Trust me, I know it's not. Man, but he come in and like he's always, he does what he can. Being deaf, you can't really communicate all that well. But he does his best. But my biggest thing, I think my main intention of even proposing this entire question is like, how do you speak to them? So if you have to talk to a deaf person, right? You have to talk to them. How do you do it? Do you just move your mouth? Do you yell? Do you just talk regularly? Like, because the thing is they're not going to hear you if you're screaming at them. They're not going to hear you if you're whispering at them. So me, like I always catch myself like start just at a normal talking tone, but then by the end of me by the end of my phrase, whatever I'm saying, it's just it's just the it's just the mouth moving because that's all they really need. But it's weird, especially like if somebody else is there and they don't know that this person's deaf, and they're like, "What the? These guys in like a secret club or something? Like, what the fuck is going on?" No secret club. But if there was one, am I saying I'd go blind to be in it? Not blind, deaf. Am I saying I'd go deaf to be in it? Maybe. Maybe. I just heard a weird noise. I just heard another weird noise. Okay. It's probably fine. It's probably fine. Just forget I ever heard it. I should have put my headphones on for this so I wouldn't hear that stuff. Yeah, because I'm literally just talking to myself here. Not scary at all. I'm not scared. No, that was pretty freaky. I don't know what it was. It wasn't footsteps. It was just weird noises. But yeah, man, just respect deaf and blind people. Just do it, man. It's not that hard. Just treat them like a regular person. But when you talk to them, maybe just try stuff out. Like if you got like a deaf cousin or something, just like, if you got a deaf cousin, you probably know sign language. I wish I knew sign language though. That'd be so much easier. Like you could carry a full conversation. Oh, someone's walking. If you can hear that, I'm sorry. People be mad disrespectful in my house. It's 11 o'clock. Why is somebody awake? They better not be coming in here to say something to me because that would make me upset because I'd have to cut this part out. Sorry. Now it feels like I'm kind of obligated to. Whatever. Man, they're making hella noise up there. Anyway, given the fact that I've been rudely interrupted by someone walking, I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna hop off the deaf train and the blind train and I was never on the paralyzed train, so I'm not gonna get off because I wasn't on it. I just kind of brought him up. But hey, we got warm weather. Man. And of course, man, this is what makes me upset. So I never ask for certain days off. Every once in a while, like if I got something coming up that I need to be at, then I'll be like, okay, I need this off. But for the most part, I just kind of get my schedule and let it ride. Well, my schedule for the past like 5-6 months, something like that. Like I've worked maybe 2 Saturdays before today. And of course, when it's the nicest day of the year, mind you, it's like 85 degrees today. It was like 85 degrees today. They're like, yep, you're working. I'm like, oh, cool, okay, whatever. Do I get to work in the morning? Nope. You get to work your entire day away. And then when you get home, it's dark outside and kind of cooled off, and nobody wants to do anything at 9 o'clock. TNJ Market. Man, gotta love it, right? Gotta love it. But no, I don't. But man, it was so nice, and it's so weird. If you're from Ohio, you've probably heard this a bajillion times. But it's like, man, what the hell is up with Ohio? I see people clowning Ohio all the time on the internet, and every single time I see it, I want to stick up for us Ohioans. For us OHs. You better have said IO. You better have said IO, or turn the video off. Whatever. But no, like I like to stick up for us. But sometimes I'm like, man, I'm not going to. I'm really not. Because everything that they're saying, I'm not going to say it's true, but there's not a lot of falsity. Is that a word? I don't know. But they're kind of spitting. They're kind of being honest. And yeah. But like literally, like last week, I think it snowed. Like no lie, I don't know. Yeah, I think last week it snowed. No lie. And it's like 40, 30, 50. Bounce around all these little fall numbers. And it's like, and mind you also, like all these Saturdays I've had off, rainy, cold. You can't do nothing. You're stuck inside all day. Which, even when it's nice outside, I don't find myself really going outside and running around a tree for a little while or something. I don't got a lot of stuff to do outside neither. But the thing is if I'm at work, I'm working. I can't go outside at free will. I gotta either go get something or something. I don't know. But at home, like if I'm sitting here watching Netflix or something, and I'm like, I've been inside for too long. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go get some fresh air. I can do that. And if I want to be outside for 3 hours, guess what? I'm gonna be outside for 3 hours. But man, it was so beautiful today. Thankfully, Sunday was also beautiful. I'm saying was because y'all ain't seen this for a couple days. I hope today, Monday, is also pretty nice. I think it's gonna storm. Man, we ain't got no nasty storms yet, so we might have one. We might have one coming. Man, you ever you ever see those videos on TikTok or Instagram or wherever where it's like this if no, it'll say like you will receive the greatest news of your life in the next 14 hours if you like, comment, share, follow, and use this sound. Well, I'm scrolling through Instagram's version of TikTok last night, and sure enough, I see one of these videos. I'm like, you know what? I could use some good news. I could. It's like, screw it, man. I'm just going to make a little gag video about it. Man, no fucking lie. That shit does numbers, bro. Straight up. Dude, let's look. Let me turn this audio all the way down so you don't accidentally hear this. But dude, it's got over 200 likes. I've never got 200 likes on any photo I've ever posted on my Instagram, man. My highest is like 100. That's it. I'm gonna start uploading these Instagram TikToks. They do good, man. You post something shitty on TikTok and then you turn around and post it on Instagram, dude, you're famous immediately. There goes someone running again. I think it might have been my dog. There's some sports going on right now. I'm kind of out of the loop, really. I keep telling myself, like almost every night, I'm like, oh, tonight I'm gonna watch one of these playoff basketball games. I never do. If there's one on Sunday, I'll watch it. I will. I probably won't, but I'd like to. I really would. I like watching sports. But thankfully, thankfully, there's some football back. The USFL. I think I touched on a little bit last week with Brady and Tyreek. Maybe not. I don't remember. I know I wanted to. But it's back. It's on. It's kind of like a little, I don't know if you'd call it a developmental league or if you would just call it like a little spring league. Like, I don't know if there's anything that will come from it. I mean, I'm sure there will. But from what I've seen of it so far, it's cool. It's football. That's the thing. It's football. If you like watching football, then you're probably gonna, you probably won't mind it. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that you're gonna love it because it is slow. You don't have the superstars that are on NFL teams. You look at the Chiefs. I mean, yeah, sure, we'll look at the Chiefs. You got Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. You don't have a single guy that can throw the ball even maybe half the distance of Patrick Mahomes. But for the most part, it's like Patrick Mahomes. Let's just say average NFL quarterback, average college quarterback, average USFL quarterback, and then like average high school quarterback. Like you don't have to be like, I think I could probably go try out for a USFL team and I'd probably get signed to like they'd probably let me try out. I'm not saying I'd make the team, but they'd let me try out. They'd be like, all right, sure, we'll get you some numbers. That's a good thing. Yeah, look out for your guys. If you got a team nearby, I think the Pittsburgh Maulers, they just lost today, man. I watched some of that game. Yeah, bro. Just hit them up. Be like, hey, I know what football is. Can I come try out? Like, what do you want to try out as? I'm like, what do you need? I bet I could do a half decent job. Their kickers. I've seen their kickers are god awful. They're terrible. But another thing I've heard is that their ball, the USFL ball, it's bad. Like it's a bad ball. Like I don't know why. I didn't do much in-depth research on it, but I've heard that a lot of people do not like it. Which I mean, whatever. But that's one thing that if they want this to be something that lasts, you got to work all the kinks out. I mean, you could probably let this season ride as it is, I guess. But that's wishful thinking that you think that you're going to be able to put a second season together. I don't know what all goes into this. I know next year we're going to be seeing the XFL, and I'm pretty sure the XFL is working with the NFL to be like a real developmental league. So I think if the USFL, I think if they do decent enough, they could probably do like a merger with the XFL and just create like pretty much like a second league that's used for the NFL. You look at the MLB. The MLB they have different teams that are like developmental leagues for their teams. The NHL has it. The NBA has it. I think the NFL is the only one that doesn't have it. I think they used to have NFL Europe. I think that used to be a thing. And that was kind of the equivalent to that. But we haven't seen anything like that in a while. And really, up until a few years ago with the AAF, I don't think I had ever seen spring football, at least not that I remember. I mean, I'm sure NFL Europe was probably still going around when I was still alive, but not while I was watching football. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen the USFL, I think they play a few times a week, I think. They only have like 8 or 10 teams. So, I mean, I guess you don't have to think really hard about what's your favorite one if you don't want to. Man, people are really just stomping upstairs at 11:30 p.m. I'm not sure why. But you would think, the nerve of some people. Whatever. Man. But yeah, check the USFL out if you haven't seen it yet. If you haven't seen any of their games or anything, check that out. Please do. Something that I kind of got into here this past week. I'm not going to say I got into it, actually, because I'm not. But one thing that I've always had a hard time doing is sitting down and watching a movie, man. I hate it. It's got to be something that grabs you. It grabs you quick. Or I got to hear about it from somebody. Where like, bro, you got to watch this movie. This is the best movie ever. Well, there last week, I turned on, there's the air conditioner. Man, there's so many noises. There last week, I turned on Netflix. And, sometimes I'll just get on my TV and I'll scroll through all the different streaming services that I'm subscribed to. And I'll just look. Like, I don't have any intention on watching anything, but I just want to look. I just want to look at what they got. Well, I watched this movie called Cleaner. So it's called. It's on Netflix, or at least it was last week. It was in the top 10 when I watched it. But it's like a kind of like a crime drama movie with Samuel L. Jackson. Great movie. I thought it was. If you're a movie buff, you probably wouldn't really care for it. You probably see like, oh well, that's you probably got all your little opinions, I guess. Whatever. I don't care. I thought it was cool. This is also, I just realized this is the last episode of April. What? May's coming up. And speaking of a new month coming, okay, that's not a great transition. I'm just going to skip that. I'm just going to save that for another time because I don't like that transition at all. It kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies. But speaking of movies, I watched that Cleaner movie and I liked it a lot. And there the other night, I was in, I think it was Thursday night. I was in the living room, me and my mom, and I just hop on Netflix again. I'm like, what do they got on here? Well, if you didn't know, Netflix has this thing on their app or whatever, where you can, there's a button that just hits like play something, and it'll just play a random movie or TV show or documentary that's on Netflix. It'll just throw it on. I like doing like like when I start watching it, I'll put my hand up over the TV where they're gonna put the title, and I'll like try to guess what it is. Like I'm gonna know. I never do, but I was doing that the other day, and this thing comes on, and I think it's called like White Burn or something like that, or White Fire, something like that. It was a documentary about Abercrombie and Fitch. So if you haven't watched it, I do recommend you watch it, because I'm not someone that can sit down and watch something that's like an hour and a half long, but I did for this because it was cool to watch. So Abercrombie and Fitch, I never knew everything about it. Like for one, it's kind of like I think now it's kind of trending back upwards, not in like a popularity standpoint, but in like a respectability standpoint, I guess. So I guess way back in like 1890 or something, it was created, and it was kind of like an outdoor shop. You know, they sold like kayaks and vests and shit. And then somebody buys it, and then this one dude gets in charge of it. Well, he starts making all this cool shit, sexy models, blah, 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 blah. Well, and yeah, that's one thing. Like I remember growing up, like Abercrombie, Aeropostale, American Eagle, like that was the shit. Like me, I was kind of younger when it was, so I didn't really get affected by it too much. But like my sister, like she was right in that prime demographic of like, yep, this is your age. This is what is cool. And I remember like my sister was always wearing, or Hollister was another one too. If you, and like I said, I wasn't in high school at the time, so I don't really know, but in my opinion, I imagine like if you wasn't wearing Aeropostale, American Eagle, Abercrombie and Fitch, or Hollister, like you were just a dweeb, man. Like you're a loser, straight up loser. At least that's the way it made it seem. The documentary did, you know. And I didn't know there was so much scandal within it too. So like one thing was, I think the first thing right off the bat was Abercrombie and Fitch does not like minorities. Boom. That's strike one. And like a bunch of stuff happened from it too. It wasn't just like you had a couple black people that got fired and they were like, man, that was racist. Like no, like full on and well, like they'd have people that would get hired that were black or you know, African American, Hispanic, you know, Middle Eastern, anything. And they would just like they'd work like a few days and then they get the next schedule and they wouldn't be on it at all. And they're like, what's going on? And they're like, don't worry, it's you'll be on it again. Yeah. Long story short, they wouldn't be. And I think there was a few people whose managers were kind of honest with them, and they were like, listen, this isn't on us, but we are being told that you don't fit our standards. So their standards was either sexy, slutty women, white women, or jacked beefcake white men. That's it. That's it. If you don't fit one of those two things, don't even put your application in, bro. You're not getting the job. But then after that, you know, I think body positivity came around, where it was like, you know, like they wouldn't hire any fat people. They didn't make clothes that would fit fatter people. And I can say fat, I'm fat. They wouldn't do anything like that. So then more people come out and they're like, yo, what the fuck's up with that? Why aren't you making stuff for plus size folks? And they're like, and I think, and I don't remember in what scandal this was said, but he was like, The CEO was like, "Hey, if you don't fit our, and not just in an employee thing, like in a in a customer standpoint too, like if you were not someone that was jacked white guy, sexy white girl, if you weren't one of those two things, they didn't care if you wore their clothes. They're like, go ahead, dude, we don't care, don't wear, please don't, like, if we see you, if you're fat and we see you wearing Abercrombie & Fitch, like, we're gonna jump you and steal your clothes. Like, that's how serious they were. So then another one, so that's strike two. Another thing comes out later on, that these dudes that are in charge of Abercrombie & Fitch are like, little Jeffrey Juniors, little Jeffrey Epsteins, man. They'd like get these dudes to come out, and mind you, it's so, and actually no, they're not Jeffrey Juniors. They're like, I don't know the names of all these convicted serial rapists and stuff. Sorry, my bad. I don't keep up with that. But there was like they would bring these guys on to do photo shoots, and in the middle they'd be like, all right, come in this tent with us, and it'd be the CEO and like the head photographer or something. I don't know. There was another guy. I don't remember who the other guy was. But they bring him in this tent, and it was just CEO, other dude, model. Boom, you're in this tent. And they'd be like, all right, get naked. Like they were just, so then that comes out, and they're like, no, that didn't happen. And then, of course, they end up settling. So I think in any case where you end up being like, okay, here's some money, like, you probably did it. You probably, let's be honest, like, you probably had you did something a little sketch. Maybe not to the extent that they're accusing you of, but you're not perfect, bud. Okay? You did something. Let's make that clear. But just some other stuff. And then I think here recently, like within the past 5 years, it got sold, or maybe it didn't get sold, but a new CEO come in play. And it was just, man, it was so crazy. Like to know that like I used to wear that stuff. And like I said, I mean, even today, I'm not big into news and scandals and stuff like that. I don't really care. But like to hear that stuff, I'm like, man, that shit was really going on. Like, you were really like that. And guess who owned Abercrombie? Les Wexner, whatever, you know him, the richest man in Ohio, Jeffrey Epstein's buddy, old pal. You know what they did. We know what they did. You know what they did. You get it. You guys like that? Little ASMR. Yeah. I hate that. I hate ASMR. Oh, you ever be like scrolling through TikTok, someone's live will pop up, and it'll be them doing ASMR, and they're like, they got like a big old full pack of gum in their mouth, and they're just down in the microphone, just going to town on that thing. I'm like, oh, get the fuck out of my ear with that. Even if it's not the chewing stuff, they got weird things they're like touching the microphone with. I'm like, what are you doing? Stop that. Stop. You don't need it. I definitely don't. And if you watch that, like, get this fixed. Speaking of my sister, this is a better transition. My sister's pregnant. I don't know if I've said that, but she's pregnant, and man, she's about to pop that baby out, man. Like, I'm thinking within the next like 48 to, what's that for 48? 60? Is that what's next? That's not next. 72, right? I don't know. Whatever. Within the next 3 days. I'm sorry, I'm not good at math. Within the next 3 days, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say she's gonna pop this baby out. So drop a congratulations to my sister down in the comments. Let me know that you've made it 40 minutes in. If you haven't yet, make sure you click that like button. It's like right over there, I think. I don't know. It's somewhere. It's down there. Click it. Click subscribe. Turn on post noties so you never miss an episode of the Plait Show. Come on. Why haven't you done this yet? Come on. I want to be cool. I want to be like Mr. Beast. Help me get there. That was the part that the transition was not working. I don't even remember how I did it, but I didn't like it. So, a few weeks ago, I told you guys about me getting rear-ended. And, the story has just really unfolded within the past 3 weeks. On Thursday it was 3 weeks since it happened. And, man, it's really just unfolded in the worst way possible. Well, so I had thought. So, it happens, we get their insurance, like, sick, I'm going to get something, right? Well, come to find out a couple days later, they call me, they're like, hey, bad news. They actually didn't have insurance. So I'm like, motherfucker, of course they didn't have insurance. Of course, that's just my luck. Well, then a couple days go by, and they call me, and they're like, hey, just checking in, we don't know anything. Sorry. And then a couple days later, I call, I'm like, what's going on? They're like, sorry. I'm like, so you're telling me I'm shit out of luck? And they're like, yep, sorry. So they're not going to do nothing for me. Well, the other day, I call the tow yard in which my car is parked in right now. So I call them, and the guy's like, yeah, the girl who hit you, their family's been trying to get a hold of you. They've been wanting to get your number, but I didn't have it to give out. So I'm like, y'all couldn't find no one that had my number? Like, the dude who owns this tow yard, his nephew is like one of my best friends. Like, you couldn't have been like, hey, can you get your boy to give me a call or something? Nothing. I understand. They got other stuff to do. But still. But pretty much, they get a hold of me. They get a hold of my mom, actually. Mama's boy, you get it. And they're like, hey, we'd like to, instead of having to take this to court, because that's what I really thought that was. And the thing was that was something I didn't want to do at all. I was like, I really don't want to take this to court, because for one, it was like, I knew it was going to be like strenuous. No, that's probably not the right word. But like, I knew it was gonna take some time. So I didn't really want to do it. Well, they get in touch and they're like, hey, we just want to, kind of squash it. Like, we'll hook you up with some bread. You just tell us what. So we tell them what's up, and we haven't heard anything since. So we gave them a number that we thought was fair. But yeah, like I said, haven't heard anything yet, anything back. They were trying to talk it up with their attorney to get it like put in writing, I guess. They're probably trying to scam me or something. I don't know, man. I just want a new car. That's all I want. Just a car. It ain't got to be new. Someone let me borrow your car. Come on, hook your brother up. Hook your brother up. Hook your buddy up. Oh, man. Man. Speaking of shows, man. Actually, I'm sorry. I should have talked about this when I was talking about the USFL. Deebo Samuel once traded. Boom. Where's he going to go? I don't know. I've talked about this guy plenty of times on the show. If you've been listening for a while, you've heard about him. The 49ers fan that I see at work all the time. I mean, he comes in, and I kind of feel bad for the guy, because I don't feel like he has, like, too many people to talk to about this stuff. So, like, one part of me, I'm like, come on, man, I don't want to talk anymore. But then on the other hand, I'm like, okay, I'll talk with you, man. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to, and I get it. So I'm not going to be mean. I'll listen to you. After you leave, I might be like, damn, man, I've been talking for 30 minutes. But I'll listen, and I'll interact with you. I don't got a problem with it. I'm not going to turn around and talk shit about you, because like I said, you're probably going through some stuff, and I understand that. And I respect you. I respect you enough to not disrespect you like that. He comes in and he tells me about this. He's like, yo, your Deebo Samuel once traded. And I'm like, oh, really? Well, his stance, and I feel like I got to back him up on this, because it's really true. Deebo Samuel apparently wants a bunch of money, like way too much. Because mind you, I think this was Deebo's like third. I think this past season was his third year in the league, maybe second or third year. Well, up until this season, Deebo Samuel hadn't done anything, really. I mean, he probably hadn't even played a full season. But he comes out, has a baller ass season. You got to hand it to him. He really did have a good ass season. But like, to want like Devontae Adams type money, and you only got one season to back you up, like, that's not me saying that Deebo Samuel's going to fall off the face of the earth tomorrow. But you don't know. You don't know. And a franchise is going to be really pissed off if they pay this guy $100, $150, $200 million on like a 6-year deal, and you end up being a flop. You end up being a one-season wonder. They don't want that. They don't. And you can't blame them for that either. But yeah, I don't have any speculative news about where he might go or anything like that. I really don't know. For him, I hope they either work something out there in San Francisco, or he finds a better place to go that's going to pay him what he believes he's worth, and I hope he lives up to that worth, or his self-thought worth, I guess. I feel like I'm talking shit about him. I'm sorry. Deebo Samuel, you're not watching this, but if you are, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I don't mean to shit on you. But then another thing that I should have talked about when I was talking about movies and stuff is there's a new show coming out. I think it's gonna be on Nickelodeon or Paramount Plus or something. And it's a new Fairly Odd Parents. So I think everybody watching me talk right now, you've probably seen an episode or two of the Fairly Odd Parents. Well, they're making a new revamped version where it's live action. Why do they always do that? When did children's or adolescents or just kids in general, whether you're 5 years old or whether you're 15 years old, when have we decided that cartoons, no good? We're going to get you live action sitcoms. I don't want to watch that, man. I mean, I'm an adult now, but I watch cartoons sometimes. Sue me. I don't care. It's fun. They're fun to watch, okay? But like, man, I feel like every single time they got something good, and inevitably, everything must come to an end. Maybe not The Simpsons, I don't know, but whenever it does, I bet like 20 years from whenever it ends, they'll be like, oh, here's a new live action Simpsons show. It's gonna happen. Like 20 years from now, I will know. I'm gonna be like, man, on episode 54, I said something about this. And then everyone's gonna be like, whoa, are you an insider? Like I got their predictability on my side. No, that's some crazy shit. That's a story for another time. I'm not gonna get carried off track again. But yeah, they're making a new one, and I saw a trailer for it today when I was watching TV with my nephew, and it looks terrible. It looks absolutely terrible. It's not even like a reboot. It's not like, I remember they came out with a couple Fairly Odd Parent live action movies where it was like, okay, you got Drake Bell who plays Timmy Turner, and you still got the cartoon Cosmo and Wanda and stuff. And you have different characters who have, they're different people, or they're the same character, but they're just a human, not a cartoon. But they got two random kids, and you kind of start the whole story over. And like, I don't know if they're going to talk about like, oh, well, we used to be Timmy Turner's Fairly Godparents. I don't know if they're going to say that. I hope they do. Pay a little homage to my boy TT. My boy TT. There's TT fucking it up. If you know. The Teddy Ray video. That's so funny. Double cheeked up on a Thursday. What is you doing? The sun is out. It's a good one, bro. Watch it. But yeah, it's two kids, and they got Cosmo and Wanda, and they got, I think his name was Jurgen. I don't know if that was his name. That big, buff ass captain of all the fairies. I seen those three people were in there. Is Crocker gonna be in there? With the ear down on his neck? I don't know. I'm not gonna watch it to find out unless you want me to. Maybe I'll make a video. Maybe that'll be my first video. I'll review the Fairly Odd Parents live action television show. That's a great idea. I'm gonna write that down right now. But yeah, I mean, and there's been a bunch of different, adaptations of different cartoons that I remember watching growing up that they were like, this did so well as a cartoon. Let's see if we can fuck it up as much as possible. And I don't like that. Like, and maybe it's just me being like stuck in my ways of like, I know it as this and I like it as this. But it's like, at the same time, it's like, I mean, do a poll, take a survey, show somebody the first episode of the original Fairly Odd Parents, and then show them the first episode of this new one. I guarantee 9 out of 10 people are going to say, I like the first one better. I mean, you probably will have some bias in there, but like, who cares? Bias doesn't matter. There's bug. It's like a moth or something. Why are you in here? Who let you in? Go. Find somewhere else to live. I don't know where it went. Sorry. Man, I got two more things I really want to touch on. And this one hits I don't know, I'm not going to say hits close to home, but I experienced it firsthand. And that is none other than a dream I had Friday night. So dreams, we've all had them. They can be awesome. They can be scary. They can be weird as hell. And mine just happened to fall in between scary and fun. The weird one. So I'm going to break it all down for you because I need to let more people know about this. And also, after I tell mine, or even right now, pause the video and go down in the comments and tell me like your craziest dream ever, because I want to know. I want to know if any of them stack up with this one that I had Friday night. So I'm just going to start you from the top. So my uncle got married. This is where it's starting. I don't have any context before this either. My uncle gets married. Okay? For whatever reason, I am not invited. Me personally am not invited. Like everyone else in my family, invited. Josh, no. Well, in the dream, I still don't have a car. But I have these cool little like rollerblades, which also, I'm going to drop this out for anybody. If you want to make this, I'll be your spokesman since I came up with it. And I will definitely try them out for you. But they were like rollerblades almost. But instead of being like manual, it was like two little hoverboards on your feet. Not like Back to the Future hoverboards, but like 2016 hoverboards where you lean forward like a handleless Segway. You know what I mean? But it was those on my feet. So I'm at my house. Mind you, my grandma, she lives like probably, I mean, if you're driving a car, probably like 10 minutes up the road, maybe. Probably not even that long, honestly. But in this dream, for whatever reason, I'm drunk as well. Like I said, don't know why. I'm giving you all the context I have. I don't have as much as I should. But I'm drunk. I hop on my little hoverboard skates, which probably wasn't safe, man. That's probably the same as drinking and driving. But I get on there and I cruise over to my grandma's, and I show up and I'm like walking through all these people. Like there's a bunch of people at my grandma's house. For whatever reason, he had the wedding at my grandma's house. I don't know, whatever. But I'm walking through and I see a bunch of people I don't recognize, and then I get up to people that I do recognize, like my other uncle and my cousins and stuff. And at that moment in my dream, I'm like, oh, I'm drunk. I can't let them see me like this. So I just go home. And I come home and I don't know if this next part is still a part of the same dream or if it's, I woke up and dreamt again. But I'm counting it as the same dream. So I'm going to fill in some holes because I don't know where what happens in between these two. But this is a fill in part, Mad Lib style. I presume I fall asleep and I wake up the next day and I have work. So I'm at work, and you probably can't see them, but I got these like eczema spots on my hands. Not a bunch of them, but I got probably like 2, 3 on each hand. Well, I'm sitting at work, and my hands and my arm starts hurting real bad. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Well, I look down at these like eczema spots, and they're raised. They're raised, and you can see, like, it kind of looks like a big pimple almost. And you can see what's inside, and it's black and red, like a red black. And my fingers are like all curled up, and they're like tilted to the side and shit. Like looks at my hands like just paralyzed. But like not just like one of these, like mangled. And like I said, this part of my arm hurts so bad. Well, I walk over to my coworker in my dream, and I'm like, hey, you think I should go to the hospital? And she's like, yeah, you probably fucking should. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Mind you, I still don't have a car, so I'll call ambulance. Ambulance comes pick me up. Again, filling in, so apparently something happens, and I get to go home. So I come home, and I'm sitting in our mudroom. For whatever reason, I'm sitting in our mudroom. I couldn't tell you, I've never sat in our mudroom, honestly, unless I'm taking my shoes off or something. Never have. But I'm sitting there. Maybe I'm trying to self-quarantine or something. And for whatever reason, there's 2 people at my house talking with my parents. I don't know who these 2 people were. Maybe in the dream, I would have recognized them, but, outside the dream world, I don't know who they were. I really don't. No clue. Like I said, they're on the other side of the house, but there's windows in the mudroom. So I'm looking out the window, and like I said, it's a man and a woman. I don't know if they were a couple or what, but they're together. Man, I'm still getting likes on that Instagram TikTok, man. Check me out, bro. I'm next up. But I look out the window, and this woman, the woman that's there, is like storming out the house, and she's mad. Like, you can tell she's mad. Well, my dad comes storming out like behind her, and he's like madder. Well, she gets up to her car, and he gets like right up next to it, like right behind her. Lady just spins around. Pew. Just whacks my dad, man. Man, even in a dream, that's just traumatizing, man. I'm afraid to sleep tonight. But yeah, just takes my father out right there. So I see this all happen. And meanwhile, I think the guy, just runs out of the house or something, because I don't know what happened to him. Anyway, after I see this happen, looking back in my dream, I guess I probably should have went and checked and saw if my dad was still alive, or called 911 or something. But no, what did I do? I locked all the doors in our house. And I went into my mom and dad's bedroom, and I grabbed a couple guns. Gave one to my mom, and I got one. And I'm like, yo, this lady's got to be coming back to take the rest of us out. That's what I'm thinking. Well, for whatever reason in this dream, I have a little sister. And this little sister is not just a weird little girl that I dreamt of. I told you about that I watched this movie called The Cleaner. And also in The Cleaner, Keke Palmer. I don't know if you know Keke Palmer. She used to be True Jackson VP. She's got some other stuff she was in. She's my little sister for some reason. Like I said, I don't know why she's my little sister. But she is. And I'm sitting there. I'm holding the strap. And I'm pointing it at the door, waiting. Yeah, it's not the door like from outside to inside. It's like the doorway from the kitchen to the dining room. And I'm just holding that thing, aiming it hard. Well, sure enough, little sister Keke Palmer walks through. Mind you, it's not an adult Keke Palmer. It's the exact Keke Palmer that was in this movie, which at the time she was probably like 10, 12, I don't know. She was young. And she like walks through, and boom, she scared me. I took her out. I didn't mean it was an accident. It was a complete accident, but I did it. Well, Mom's like, what the fuck? She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't know who it was going to be. I'm sorry, I was scared. Well, right after that happens, almost like instantaneously, the lady that takes my dad out breaks in the house, takes me and my mom out, and I wake up. And like I said, this is actually in between the part of like the hand blister, hand paralysis thing, and the climax, I guess you could say, of my dream. Um, but like I said, like it was hurting all the way down, and it was hurting my elbow bad too. I wake up for like half a second in between the stream, or like in the middle of the stream, and my arm hurts so bad right there. I'm like, I was scared. I looked down at my hand. I was like, oh, thank God it's not real. It's not real. Okay, we're good. We're good. Hopefully I'm not like seeing into the future or something, because that would suck. I don't want that. I do not want that. Especially if it's anything like the way it looked in my dream. And the last thing I wanted to talk about, man, something I really want to start implementing into the show is talking about stuff that like I feel like a lot of people experience when they were kids, or it's, whether or not you were a kid at some point in your life, and that's going to be one of these little deep dives. Have you ever? I think most of us have been on a trampoline at some point. Man, trampolines were the coolest. If you knew somebody had a trampoline, you was like always at their crib, always just doing some weird shit on trampoline, man. You would sleep on a trampoline. You'd be like, hey, you want to go camping in a tent with a fire and protection from the outdoors? Like, no. And then like your buddy down the street gets a trampoline. You're like, Mom, can I please stay at Jeremy's house? He's got a trampoline. We're going to sleep on it. Why did we do that? I don't know. Trampolines weren't comfortable. They weren't, man. I'd rather sleep on concrete floor probably. Maybe not that far. But they weren't comfortable. It was cool, You'd look up at the stars for a little bit. You fall asleep. You wake up like 2 a.m. and you're like, your friend's not there anymore. He woke up an hour earlier and he was like, fuck this. I'm going back inside. Didn't think to wake you up and bring you in. But you wake up an hour later and you're like, what the fuck is going on? My friend just got swallowed by a fucking bear. And all I got's this little mesh fucking fence protecting me. But yeah, you get the fuck off that trampoline. You get your ass in the house. You don't want to fight with whatever's out there, because you don't know. You don't know. But yeah, man, I think my earliest memory of trampolines is my grandma used to have one. Go over to my grandma's, me, my sister, my uncle. Mind you, this is the same uncle that was in the dream. My uncle is my youngest uncle. He's like 6-7 years older than me. So like when I was a kid, like he was still like kiddish. So we go out there. My uncle, he always beat the shit out of me and stuff. I'd be crying. My grandma's looking out the window like, you better, like, if you don't stop crying, I'm coming out there. Like she wouldn't whoop she would be like, I'm gonna whoop my son's ass. My uncle, her son. Well, I'd just be so scared, man. I was just like punching bag out there. Well, one time, it was more than one time. It was like almost every time I was there. Inevitably we end up on a trampoline doing something stupid, double bouncing me into the fucking stratosphere, or throwing somebody off. My uncle had a next door neighbor who would always come over, and he was like, which was weird because he was the same age as my uncle. But if it was just me, my sister, my uncle, it was me. I was the punching bag. I was getting my ass kicked. I was getting thrown off the trampoline. I was getting, thrown on the springs or something. But when his friend would come over, man, it was switch. You would think like that being my uncle's friend, my uncle would be like, we're on a team and you guys are on a team. No, it's 3-on-1. Me, my uncle, my sister versus his friend. Do you remember one time we got boxing gloves? Me and my sister got like I think I got a pair of like Hulk boxing gloves. Like they weren't Hulk hands. They were just like just little little boxing gloves. They were just made out of like a pillow. And I had like Hulk ones and my sister had like Spider-Man ones. And he came over and no shit, like I don't think we held back at all. It's been so long ago. We might have been going easy. My sister might have been going easy. I guarantee I was full fucking force. Like I was beating the shit out of this dude with all my might. Remember one time we like threw him off the trampoline? Like we were for real, like WWE had nothing on us, bro. Like WWE was like knocking at our door like, hey, can we get you guys to be on fucking next week's episode of Raw? I'm like, Nah, bro. We got to be at my uncle's in fucking 2 hours. We got a fucking rematch. Dude, this shit was so much fun. And then after so long, my grandma's one, it eventually it got old and rusty and stuff. She had to throw it away. And I went dude, that's where I learned how to do front flip, back flip. Dude, that was the only time I was ever able to do a backflip. Right now, you get me on the biggest trampoline in the world where it's going to launch me up fucking 40 feet. Doubt I'm getting a backflip in there. I'm probably going straight up. I'm going to try to tilt back, and then I'm going to land on my head and break my fucking neck. That's probably what's going to happen. But then, I jump up. I could never land it. I always land on my stomach. But that's better than nothing. That's better than nothing. I mean, I'm sure if I had a trampoline and I really dedicated time to learn how to do a backflip, I could probably do it. But I don't. It's just up here, doing a front flip. It's okay, you can get the head part out of the way quick. If I land on my back or my ass or twist my ankle, whatever. If you're doing a backflip and you don't get enough torque in there, you land on your neck, bro, you're dead. Dunzo. So that's why I wasn't down with that. Or haven't been for a while. But eventually we got one at our house. And that was oh yeah. Yep, we're in there. We're doing it. So myself, knowing where I came from in the trampoline game, I was always, I grew up on beating the shit out of people on the trampoline. So we had the net. The one at my grandma's did not have a net. It was just trampoline, ground. That was it. There was nothing saving you. But the one that I got when I was a kid it did have a net, which was kind of lame because you couldn't do a bunch of cool stuff on there. You couldn't hang on the net. You couldn't lean on it. If they made the net like it was like the ropes in a wrestling ring, that would have been sick. But it's no, put too much weight on, it'll snap. What? Then don't put it on there. What is it saving? If you fall on it too hard, you're just gonna get tangled up in some fucking string and then fall on your face. But eventually, I had this big Scooby-Doo stuffed animal that I would take on there with me, and I would wrestle it full on because at that time I was big into WWE, so I'll bring that big Scooby-Doo thing out. I'd hit it with Batista bombs and shit. People be driving by what the fuck is that kid doing? I'm fuck you, get two Mountain Dews at the fridge. I'm stone cold in them. You know what I mean? Just flipping people off and shit. Just doing whatever. Because you're a kid. Parents see you out there what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? You ever get something sticky on a trampoline though? You ever take a pop on a trampoline, spill it? Ugh, that's terrible, man. You go jump on it next day, you're you jump, your leg gets stuck on there. Fuck. No, that was bad. But my most memorable time on a trampoline was used to have these neighbors. Has one who was my friend, Chase. If you're watching this, Chase, what's up, bro? But he would come over. Another guy, Noah. Noah, I don't know if you're watching this. Nick was another one. I don't know if you're watching this. But I think this night it was me, my friend Chase, and my friend Nick. And there was these girls who lived nearby. And it was two cousins and then one of these girls' little sister. Mind you, the two cousins, two older cousins, they're around our age. Mine, we're probably 10, 11, 12, 13, somewhere in that little 3-year span. And those two girls are right around the same. They might be a little older, maybe a little younger. I don't know. At the most, it was a year difference. But the little girl, she's fuck, I don't know. She was probably 7, 8. She was young, way too young to be hanging out with us, man. But it was probably one of those things where it's hey, we're going over to the kid that has the trampoline's house. You better take your little fucking sister. Oh, Mom, come on. You're not going unless you take her. Probably one of those situations. But they show up, and mind you, it's late-ish. It's at the point where the sun is just barely still out. So I remember it was summertime, so it was probably 8:30 ish. You know, it wasn't super late, but it wasn't super bright outside. But we're sitting there, and man, the trampoline really was just like a fucking little. It's like headquarters. Like that's where you had your meetings. That's where you did your fucking stunts, your wrestling, everything, backflips, whatever. But mind you, so it's us three, me, Nick, and Chase, and then it's these two girls and the little sister. And I think I'm gonna have to sneeze. Oh, I don't want to sneeze. Tomatoes. People say that. I don't know. I don't want to sneeze. But for whatever reason, we get stuck on the topic, or we strike the topic of like which one, like it went in a circle. It was like, so who do you think's the cutest? Now, mind you, myself, even today, I'm not. You know, I'd like to say I'm kind of handsome, but I'm not super handsome. My friend Chase, love him, but he was at least a peg or two below me. But Nick was like, you know, you always got that like handsome friend. He was the handsome friend. You know, he was fast. You know, when you're young and you're fast, man, that's all you need. That's all you need, man. For real. If you could beat somebody in a race, that's like 20 bitches right there, for sure. But it starts with the girls, and the two girls that are like around our age. They're like, I think Nick's the cutest. And then the little girl, she probably said Nick was the cutest too. So that puts me and Chase like, oh, so what the fuck do we do? So Nick says, you know, probably something smooth. He was like, I think she's the cutest, yeah. You know, he probably said some slick shit. And then I'm like, I said the other girl who Nick didn't pick was cute because I think at the moment I kind of felt bad for her. I was like, man, she probably really wanted Nick to like her, and he didn't. So I felt bad. So I was like, you are. I don't think I felt that way. Like I think I was rocking with Nick. I was like, yeah, you're right. Like she's the prettier one. But I was like, okay, I'll be generous. You know, I won't let her feel left out. Well, I'm like, I think she's cute. And she's like, ew, what the heck, bro? Ew, you think I'm cute? I'm like, okay, fuck you. I think I probably did switch it up. I was like, okay, you want to be like that? I didn't actually mean it. I thought you was a cuter one. You know, fuck you. But then we get to Chase. And Chase, I don't know if you're watching this. I'm not going to drop your last name, so nobody knows who I'm really talking about. But before I say this, you know, there was no ill will meant in what in his opinion. You know, it was just kind of like he was kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place. So it gets to Chase, and Chase is like, man, I don't know. He's like, you know, he's kind of stuck in that situation where he's like, well, these girls don't think I'm fucking cute. He's like, so fuck it, who am I gonna go with? He's like, I don't want to look like an idiot. Well, he's like, I don't know, can I go with the little girl, the 7-year-old? And we're all like, whoa, man, what the fuck? Why would you say that? And the girls are like, whoa, what the? They're like, protecting her. Like, quit looking at her, dude. You're freaking us out. Chase, I'm sorry, man. I remember this like it was fucking yesterday, though. This was so funny. They're like, whoa, what the hell? Why do you think she's a cute one? Like, she's fucking a kid, man. He's like, like he tried to defend himself. Like I said, it's not like he said it like because he had a thing for little girls. Like, he just said it because he was kind of like, I don't want to look like an idiot, because he saw how it went with me when I was like, yeah, I think you're cute. And she was like, oh, what the fuck? You know, I think that was probably the better reaction than everybody thinking that you were into little girls. Oh, bro, this isn't even that funny, but you just had to be there. You just had to be there. Shout out Chase, man. I got to get Chase on here one of these days, man. We got some funny ass stories. We do. Just some kid shit. And that's the funniest shit in the world, dear kid. But yeah, they're like, whoa, what is your problem, man? And yeah, he was like trying to defend himself. He was like, man, I didn't know what to, you know, like I said, I'm not trying to say that you're a candy chaser. I don't know if that's what they call them. You know what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say that that's what you were trying to do. I know that's not what you were trying to do. You were just kind of like, oh, what do I do? You know, I get it. But man, so many memories on a trampoline, dude. You throw me on a trampoline, man. You just gotta let me sit on there for a sec. Just let me lay down. Let me lay down and close my eyes. Let me reminisce. Let me go back to all the stupid shit I did on a trampoline. You ever fall off a trampoline, dude? That's like if you like you ever be walking down the stairs and like you're not really paying attention and you think you're on the last step and you go to step down and you're like, oh fuck, that's not the last step. That's not the last step. Like you just jumped a step and about fucking took both your legs out. It's like that times like 10. Because you're not expecting to not be on the trampoline. And then boom, before you know it, you're fucking laying in the grass. Like, what just fucking happened here? Oh, dude, it was so much fun. Dude, I remember one time on a trampoline, my friend Christian, he used to have one too. And mind you, me and him, we were like wrestling dudes. Like we were, like he'd come over to my house. We watched wrestling. We'd play with the toys. We played the games, everything. Well, I went over to his house one day, and we were like doing like a little impromptu fake wrestling match. And he like pretended to go like his was not one with the net, so he pretended that he bounced off the rope, and he was coming back, and I just stuck my hand out. And he wasn't wearing a shirt, and I smacked him hard as hell on the chest, and he was pissed. He was so mad. Dude jumps up and drop kicks me, launches me off the trampoline, and I remember just laying there. Like after he drop kicks me, he gets off trampoline, goes back into his house. So I'm like, well, fuck, I'm just laying underneath this trampoline at someone else's house. And like at that point, when you have those moments with your friends, it's like, man, there is our friendship. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, fuck. So I remember I sat underneath this trampoline, like contemplating everything, like being so regretful that I smacked the shit out of him. I mean, like, man, why did I do that, you know? And I eventually mustered up the courage, come back inside, and he was like playing a WWE game, and I come up and I sat next to him. I was like, hey, sorry, man. And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry too. And then it was like, boom, it was over. It was over. Man, like I said, dude, let me know your fucking funny ass trampoline stories because I gotta know. We all got some crazy shit. I guarantee it. But actually, guys, this was a longer episode than I really anticipated it being, which is pretty cool. But thank you so much for being here, for watching all 54. Like I said, I hope I got some great news to give you guys next week. I keep having those like weird little burps that get stuck in your throat. But yeah, I hope I got you some good news. Remember, Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, turn post notifications on. Do it, please. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for rocking with me. And until next time, this has been the Plait Show.